ended where these men vowed it would end. They have fought their way to Japan. British, New Zealanders, Indians, and Australians. Through the jungles of Borneo and Burma to the bloody heights of Kennedy Peak. At Mandalay and Arakan, on the Coral Sea and the Bismarck Sea, over the Owen Stanleys to Kokoda, Buna, Gona, Milne Bay and Scarlet Beach, through Timor, Java and the Philippines. Now they form the British Commonwealth Occupation Force, BCOF, sharing with America the work of occupying Japan. Into the home waters of the Japanese Navy come the men of Australia, Queensland timber cutter, drover from the centre, Gulf country cattleman and Newcastle shipwright, Sydney wharf hand and trawler's mate, a shearer from New South Wales, Kalgoorlie miner, Newcastle foundryman, a fisherman from Bateman's Bay. They have finished the fighting. Now they begin the work of occupation.
No doubt about these Yanks, they certainly do a job.
Yeah, fortresses. They copped 2 carriers, 3 cruisers and 6 destroyers in one raid.
This was the Kure Naval Base.
The lords of East Asia have returned from their war of conquest. Stripped of their rank, they pour in from every corner of the Southwest Pacific. Each a possible carrier of smallpox, cholera, or typhus. Defeated, dejected, deloused. Tojo's men are home again. The first job is to destroy Japan's war machine. In the woods and in thousands of caves and tunnels that pock the shores of the inland sea, arsenals of arms and ammunition are hidden. Today, even the Japanese themselves have no records of where their war equipment was planted. Every day brings new discoveries. A 4-man submarine assembly base, 100,000 tons of high explosives, 6,000 tons of mustard and Lewisite gases, 250,000 projectiles, 16-inch naval guns complete with breeches. Deep in 100,000 tunnels were stored the hopes of a greater Japanese empire. 15 years of futile toil now boomerangs on the Japanese people. It will take years to dispose of equipment already known. Bombs, mines, cordite, projectiles, warplanes, torpedoes, lethal gases, engines, turbines, diesels, radar. Dead is Japan's dream of a greater East Asia. Gone her hope of ruling the world.
We've burned off 9,000 tons of this stuff, cordite and picric acid.
We lay a 25-minute fuse now. This gives us plenty of time to get away. First lot we burned off, we nearly roasted a Yank and an Aussie. They were hardly off the beach when she went up.
Toil for the masters. Toil for the landowners. The average farm is an acre or 2, tiny plots worked from dawn to sunset. The fertility of the earth is in the hands of the women. Their patient hands feed a nation living on the edge of hunger, a nation of 73 million with a birth rate of more than 2 million a year. Here is fertile soil for the seeds of democracy. Pilots who match the zero in Pacific skies now watch over Japan. Men from New Zealand, Indian, British and Australian squadrons, which make up the British Commonwealth Air Group, set out on a dawn sweep, led by a young veteran of the Royal Australian Air Force. sky that was once the home of the Zero and the Mitsubishi, they see foreign planes. Not so long ago, they looked up in terror. Now they look in wonder. Are these the foreign devils of wartime press and radio, or are they ambassadors of a new era? Over village and terraced hillsides, green with the shoots of the new season's rice. Over Hiroshima, where the atom bomb marked Japan's defeat. The Japanese Navy is home to stay. Commander-in-Chief of the British of the Ginza, Tokyo's famous shopping center, went in the bombing, so the shopkeepers have become street vendors. The men of VCOP want to buy souvenirs. What they find is that Japan's economy, like her war machine, is in ruins.
5,000 yen for a camera? This black must be nuts.
Inflation and black markets with the daily search for food. There is food to be bought if you can pay the price. There are many who can't. They go hungry. There are many destitute and homeless. They will die. These are the final victims of Japanese aggression. But defeat has brought the Japanese a new freedom. Freedom of assembly and speech under a new constitution, which outlaws war and strips the emperor of power. Though the old religion of state Shinto, attributing divine creation to the homeland and calling for divine worship of the emperor, still continues. It has been so deeply imposed on the Japanese mind that it will need a new generation to change it. So Allied control continues. Men of VCOP know that the children are the real rays of the Japanese rising sun. Here the new Japan will be built. A Japan based on human rights, with freedom from fear and want, so that one day, perhaps, she may walk hand in hand with the peace-loving nations of the world.
Hiroshima, Japan. The atom bomb has left a scarred earth. The survivors, a scarred people. Japan has been disarmed. Emperor Hirohito's imperial army is home in defeat. Japan's war leaders are on trial. They were the masters of treachery, from Manchuria to Pearl Harbor. Araki, Hashimoto, Matsui, Sato, Itagaki, Tojo. But these men are no longer the rulers of Japan. Men who fought to overthrow their reign of terror now direct the lives and destinies of Japan's 73 million. Allied policy is laid down in Washington by the Far Eastern Commission and carried out by the Supreme Commander for the Allied powers. The Allied Council sits in Tokyo with members of the United States, Russia, China. Australian McMahon Ball represents the United Kingdom, New Zealand, India, Australia. The function of the Allied Council is to advise the Supreme Commander on the execution of occupation policy. President of the Far Eastern War Trials Tribunal is Queensland's Chief Justice Webb. Allied judges decide the fate of Japan's war leaders, but the people these leaders misled are already paying the penalty. There is hunger in Japan. The ranks of the unemployed are swollen by the return of Japan's repatriated army. Food is the daily need, and in this war against hunger, the fisherman is fighting the battle of his people. Seaweed will help fill empty bellies, but not enough seaweed and fish reach the cities to stave off the nation's hunger. The black market thrives on destitution, and the poor sell the clothes they will need in winter to buy enough food to keep alive. Inflation grips Japan, but the black marketeer waxes fat. Money has little value with billions of paper yen adrift. There are those who have no yen, those who have no hope. Those who have black market yen or personal possessions to exchange for black market food crowd the railway stations waiting for trains that will take them to the country. The peasant has learnt from his masters the trick of growing crops not for food, but for speculation. He meets the government demand for grain with pleasant cunning, selling his harvest furtively at extortionate prices to those who come seeking food from the cities. There are those who cannot pay the black market price. But under Allied guidance, the gradual rebirth of Japan is taking place. On the earth of Hiroshima, buildings are going up. Life is creeping back over Earth seared by the atom bomb. For out of the soil of Hiroshima, crops are growing as they've never grown before. The Allied powers have stripped the landowners and given the earth back to the peasants. Now the women work with a new heart, believing that the roots of democracy have been sown in Japanese soil. Women who helped to carry the burden of war now bend their backs to the work of reconstruction. Amid the ruins of defeat, Japan's women find a flicker of hope. The Allied powers have given the people a free choice of government. And in this first step towards democracy, women were among those elected to the House of Representatives. And Now, with equal education according to ability, Tokyo Imperial University has admitted women students. Although Japan has a new constitution, the people themselves must learn the meaning of democracy. To help their own people, a group of American-born Japanese are operating a shortwave radio news service.
This is Radio Australia calling. Here is the news read by John Wilson.
Today, Japanese radio and press are bringing news of a free world to the news-hungry people of Japan. Within the framework of Allied policy, Japan must work out her own problems. Quick to exercise their new freedom, the people are demanding reforms in the government. But they are meeting the skilled resistance of the old men of Japan, who are determined to retain what they can of their privileges.
昔徳川時代の封建時代だから私たちはこれを古い封建的な婦人に対する束縛だ。
Pent-up feelings are released after years of suppression as the Japanese find new liberties under Allied rule. The people of Japan are on the march, but the world is asking, where is Japan going? The answer lies with the Allied nations who combined in the overthrow of Japan. Their policy will not merely determine the future of 73 million Japanese, but will influence the destiny of the 1,000 million people of the Pacific.